A few weeks ago, while doing a story on Quality Care Rehab and Autism Center, we met Andrew. He was beyond excited about starting his new job at the clinic. We spoke with him briefly, but his story of how he came to be here definitely deserves to be told.
Well, Asperger's is a like a higher milder form of autism and a little bit more high functioning, but basically it's still same issues, like, you know, they may have a hard time talking to people or looking at people or having sensory issues, or maybe affected like too much loud noise.
As Arlene, Andrew's mom, proudly looks on as he describes what he does at his new job, she recalls a time when she had major concerns about her baby boy.
Well, when Andrew was born, I noticed he had a poor suck, and I noticed his head control was really lagging, and then there was no trunk control. So I knew something was up. Doctor said, oh, he's just a little slow, everything will be okay. Well, my previous profession, I worked in physical therapy, and I had been studying about the milestone growths of a baby, and I knew something wasn't right. So I had a friend therapist come over and we watched him, and she said, Arlene, get him into therapy. So
Arlene took that friend's advice and started Andrew in therapy right away.
And we started very early intervention with OT, PT, around 6 months old. And the milestone of growth just started taking off, and before we knew it, Andrew had head control, he had trunk control.
Arlene says she continued the therapy throughout Andrew's childhood, and it really paid off, but there were some challenges.
Well, the biggest challenge I would say for Andrew, you know, the communication, you know, he wouldn't give eye contact, he didn't like to be cuddled, he didn't like to be touched. People would stare at him like, you know, what's going on? I think for middle school was probably the biggest challenge for Andrew, because at that age, kids, you know, tend to make fun of you.
So as a young child, Andrew faced many challenges, but his mom was very emotional when she spoke of his accomplishments.
Very proud. My husband and I, very proud. Andrew has a bachelor's degree from Oakland University. And when Andrew and I were talking about going to college, at first he didn't know what he wanted to go into. And he likes to speak, which is really bizarre because he is autistic. And I said, Andrew, communications, what about that? And so he looked into that, and he said, Mom, that's it. We're going to do communications.
With a degree in speech communications and a minor in journalism, I asked Andrew if he'd maybe take my job one day.
We'll see.
For Shelby This Week, I'm April Morton.